Who's the boxing show that's knocking out the competition? The kick-ass podcast that make you want to listen. The place where boxing fans and fighters rejoice. Thumbs up for Richie. You're listening to The Fighter's Voice.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm your host, Richard Ortiz of The Fighter's Voice, the only voice that matters. And I'm like our guest coming up with the best DNA in the world. Ladies and gentlemen, Sugar Shane Moseley Jr. Welcome to The Fighter's Voice, my man.
Oh, thank you, brother. Appreciate it. If you don't mind, no offense, but I'm Shane Moseley Jr., not Sugar.
Okay, well, I had to put some sugar in there, man, because the way you move, man.
I appreciate that.
The whole family.
I appreciate that, brother. That's right. That's right.
Okay, well, I meant nothing by it, man. It's just, hey, I said that when I said DNA, I started thinking about your pops.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
No, and I appreciate that too. And I remember on your some of your interviews, you said, I love where I come from. I love my family, but I am my own man. And I respect
Yeah,
that.
man. Yeah. I think at one point I wanted to be a sugar man. Like, you know, I'm of that sugar, then I'm my own man. But I just, you know, I thought long and hard about it. And I just wanted to be me, man. So, you know, who else to be other than yourself? And so I'm Shane Moseley Jr. through and through.
Oh, yeah. And yes, you are. And you got a wonderful grandfather as well, too, man. I mean, you know, and that knowledge of the sport of boxing. And I want to talk about this second chapter in your career. I mean, where you're at today, you're a phone call away from that title opportunity. A lot of people have just thought that you would disappear into the sunset. Okay, he made a run at it. Okay, he was good, but he just wasn't as good as. But ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you this right now. If you have not followed him, you wouldn't even have to know what part of the family he was born into, because he is his own man. He has his own identity, and he's knocking on that title opportunity. You're as good as your last fight, and your last fight, my man, took care of business.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, man. I think I'm a phone call away, if not, you know, one more fight, you know, this next fight. So hopefully we hear some good news and get closer to that title fight, if not the title fight.
You know, I've always spoke to my friends or fighters that I knew, and I said, hey, be ready. And they said, what are you talking about? I mean, he's fighting so-and-so. And I said, hey, man, you never know. There can be an injury. And if you get offered that fight in a week notice, you're going to say, oh, no, I'm not going to be able to take it because of this or that. But if you stay in the gym, you never know what's going to happen. And I truly believe that it works good for UFC, and it should work good for boxing too.
Absolutely. Like, and you know, it's really funny. I mean, especially, you know, I'm fortunate to have this as my only job, you know what I mean? But, you know, even if you have another job, like if you're doing this, like what else do you have to do? Right? If you're in this, aren't you doing it to be the best? Aren't you doing it to become a world champion? So what else do you have to do?
Exactly.
You know, like why not? Like why not train? Why not get in there and be
put the
at
work
the best of your sport? Yeah, why not put the work in? So, you know, absolutely. I think that they, you know, fighters should be, you know, ready for that phone call. You know, like my past two fights, even when I fought Gabriel Rosado, I got a 5-week notice for Gabriel Rosado. For my fight in Pomona, I got 3 weeks notice. You know what I mean? Like, it is what it is. You know what I mean? Like, oh, well, you know, you didn't look as good as you should have, you know. But yeah, maybe not. But if I would have got a full camp, I probably would have looked better. But I didn't, and I you know, I did my thing otherwise. I mean, it don't matter. So, you know, with the full camp, I got, you know, 8 weeks for Demetrius Ballard, and you saw what I did.
Exactly. Let's cut through the chase, man. I mean, there's a fight taking place this Saturday. I know you're excited about to see these two gentlemen share the ring with Spence and Crawford. You know, without giving anything away, I mean, or who's you leaning towards, what do you think about the event itself? And have you seen anything different in any of these fighters as opposed to, okay, well, you know, I noticed Spence is doing something different or Crawford doesn't seem the same. Just from you noticing from the outside, do you see anything different, and what can the fans expect once that bell rings?
I mean, honestly, I think fans can expect a great fight, a war. It seems like from what I can see, that these guys are willing to give it all for this. They both want this very, very badly. and I think that they're gonna put on a hell of a show. I could see this fight ending in a knockout either way, honestly. So I'm excited for that. You know what I mean? It kind of reminds me of the Hagler Hearns and those types of fights, like back in the day, back in the glory days. You know, so this is that caliber of fight to me, and I think that they're gonna put on a show that people can be proud of.
I agree with you, man. I do. Will you be up there in Vegas, or are you going to be at home watching it on a big screen?
Yeah, I'm just gonna be at home watching it, man. You know, I don't have any affiliation with PBC, and then I believe the tickets are, you know, already kind of sold out. So, excuse my daughter in the background.
Oh no, hey, she's part of the
But
show today.
yeah. But yeah, you know, yeah, I think I'm not gonna be there, but I'm gonna be watching for sure. I wouldn't miss that fight for anything. So, I'll be watching, you know, at my house.
You know, what was it like being on, you know, living in the house, and you know, with Andre Ward and some of the other middleweights? I remember one of them was Madman Mark Hernandez, Daniel Valdivia, because they're from our location, Fresno and Tulare. And did you
Yeah.
think that that would give you the how can I say it, household name that it gave you? I mean, you made good use of that opportunity being there. Did you feel any pressure
Yeah.
because of having your dad's last name?
No, I didn't feel any pressure having my name. I felt like a lot of the guys there wanted to beat me because of that, because they felt like, you know, like it would give them some form of success or something like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, like for me, I was actually, you know, nervous because, you know, it's just a nerve-wracking experience, especially if you know, like kind of the intricacies of it. Like if you lose, then that means you can't fight for a whole entire year, you know, so you wouldn't be able to essentially fight for that long. And, you know, like I think the fights were like, I think you got like 4,000 to fight and then 4,000 to win. It was like something like that. It was like something really, really small. So if you lost, you would essentially be not getting that much money and be, you know, out of your sport for a long time. So it was a nerve-wracking experience. But being in there with all the guys, being kind of in those situations, I felt like it only made me a better fighter, made me more focused. Obviously, it put me in the mind space to really, really be dedicated and focus on the goal and winning. So, you know, I mean, I felt like it made me a better fighter.
There was one fight. Exactly, I agree with you. There was one fight that took place, and I remember it was Marcos Hernandez and Daniel Valdivia. Initially,
Yeah,
Daniel Valdivia was awarded the victory. He was called back
yeah,
into the ring, and they changed the decision. What did you
yeah.
think of that? And is that what you saw yourself, if you're able to speak on it?
Well, I mean, yeah. So from because I was on Danny's team, um, and I mean, I watched the fight back and you know, many times, and I thought Danny won. I just thought that, you know, he was um, you know, he was the cleaner fighter. He won that night, in my opinion. Um, you know, ultimately, Marcos Hernandez couldn't fight. You know what I mean? Like he was the more banged up guy afterwards. He was cut, he was bruised. He even said like he had like a headache going into like after the fight,
Yeah.
you know, and Danny was essentially, you know, good, you know. So to me, that was kind of like everything that you like needed to, like I need to hear as a fighter. Cause I'm like, okay, there's one guy that like says that, you know, like he's all banged up and cut and stuff like this, and you know, he can't really see well and all this stuff. And then another guy that isn't, and he's the loser. So to me, it was just kind of like, it didn't really make sense, but you know, it is what it is. I'm not a judge. You know, they made the decision, they went for it. And so for me, you know, I wanted to fight. You know, my fight wasn't very pretty with Devon Lee, so I wanted a little bit more time. So I wanted the last spot, and also Marcos Hernandez put himself in the last spot. So, you know, we were going to get matched up together. You know what I mean? Because I wanted a longer time for the tournament. He wanted a longer time to kind of recover. Ultimately, he couldn't fight. So they asked me, who do I want to put in his place to fight? And I said, well, I personally felt that Danny won the fight. So why wouldn't I put Danny in that position? There were some other guys that I could have put in there to fight, but I truthfully felt that Danny was the winner of that fight, and I should have be fighting him if it was going to be anybody. So I chose to fight Danny Valdivia.
Well, I remember reflecting back and watching it, and you were one of my favorites going in. It was like a freaking soap opera, man. I actually even got in
Yeah.
an argument with my girl because I wasn't gonna wait, you know, because we would tape it or
Wow.
whatever. And she
Yeah.
brought groceries coming in, and I'm watching it, and she was, "Are you freaking kidding me?" And it's she doesn't watch boxing. She just stays away from it, but she was into the drama, the storytelling, and you know when they take a piece
Yeah.
of you and they talk to you about certain things, and they need to run that back. They do, and bring some of you guys back into the picture so you can talk to these young fighters and say, look, man, keep your mind ready, keep focused. And you know, I'm preaching to the choir here. I just see you doing
Yeah.
things other than boxing because of your personality, in the way you conduct yourself, in your demeanor,
Thank you.
and wanting to be your own person.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, you know, I would love to do stuff outside of boxing, you know, afterwards. But you know, the main goal right now is the main thing's the main thing, and that is, you know, becoming a world champion. I even told my dad, I was like, I'm gonna be a undisputed champion at middleweight, and I was like, I'm gonna do something you never did before, and he was like, all right, like you do that, you go ahead and do that. So that's my goal. You know, once I you know get my first belt, I'm going for all of them. Why not?
There you go. That's a great belt. I mean, a great belt. That's a great goal. I mean, you know, winning that first bout too. And I know there's some belts out there. I know Triple G has relinquished some, and there's some that are there, and you're waiting for your
Yeah,
opportunity.
yeah.
What?
And I can say Sugar Shane who?
Yeah,
I can say Sugar Shane who?
there you, there
Nah,
you go. So
but yeah, you know, I mean, like, what's that?
at home, are you called Shane, or are you called Junior, or what do you call that at home?
So it's so funny. Like since I was young, like my brothers and sisters actually used to call me Shane because I was the second Shane. So it was like Shane twice.
Oh,
Shane
okay.
Shane. So they would call me Shane. My dad just calls me, you know, Shane. But like my brothers and sisters on that side of my family call me Shane.
Well, there you go.
So
That's cool. And cool little nickname there. Hashtag Shane. I like that. I like that.
yeah.
It almost sounds like cha-ching, you know, like some money coming your way.
Yeah. Yeah. I didn't like Little Shane or Shane Jr. like that. Like I'm 6'1", you know what I mean? I'm middleweight 6'1", you know what I mean? I'm not Shane Jr. or Little Shane. Like it just sounds crazy to me.
You're,
You
you're,
know what I
you're
mean?
grown. You're grown up, Shane.
Yeah, I'm a grown man. They got people call me Little Shane. Like, get out of here,
Exactly, man.
man.
I remember we both commented on something, and we both agree on this. And you know, I put up him with the top 5 in the world. I got to put Tommy Hearns in there too. And I'm talking about having the most lethal weapon left jabs in the
Oh
street
yeah,
science. We both agree. Larry Holmes. I mean, Tommy
100%.
has to be in there with that pinch.
Tommy's
Yeah.
definitely in there, man. Who else? Who else is in there? Um,
And there's
I mean,
people that have
honestly,
that.
Oscar De La Hoya.
Oh,
Oscar De La Hoya's got to be in there.
yeah, no, exactly. I mean, if you want to keep it real, Michael Moore had a great jab at
Michael
Southpaw.
Moore, man.
And see,
You know what's so funny is I love my dad's jab. You know, probably because it's like kind of similar to mine. But I like the way he like flicks it. It's annoying. Like if anybody who's ever been in there with a guy that throws a
pestering.
jab like that, it's a very it's a very annoying jab because the way like my dad almost like stiff arms and like kind of like slaps you up like this,
Yeah.
kind of how like Larry Holmes is saying. He's like, you know, I kind of slap him up and then I hit him when I want to hit him hard. I hit him with the bang, you know. But like my dad's jab was kind of like that because he was trying to set you up for the right hand. So, depending on what you're trying to do with the jab, I feel like they can be useful, and I feel like every fighter should have a varied jab. You know what I mean? They should have different variations of the same punch. Because if you throw the punch the same way every time, they'll get a beam on you. So you want to be able to have a few types of jabs, a few types of speeds, just different things like that you can vary, and not just one.
There's two things that come to mind when I think about your father, not just his work titles and the success he's had. I've always wanted to meet him and ask him, what were those sparring sessions like? Because I remember he came over to help Oscar for his Mayweather fight. I wanted to ask him
Yeah.
that. What were those? Because they closed the doors, and how he mimicked Floyd, and how many times did he get asked? Remember when he landed that right hand on Floyd? I mean, one left hook away, another
Well,
punch away from
I mean,
history.
almost every time I'm around him, and like people, like we run into people on the street, there's not a time since then that I've never heard it. Like literally every single time. There's not a time that I've ever been with him that when people see him, oh, you almost knocked out Floyd Mayweather. Oh man, you hit him with a great right hook, right hand. Like every time, like it without fail, like every time. So I'm sure that when I'm not there, people are saying it to him quite a bit. So, I must have heard it maybe 10,000 times.
What
Like, no exaggeration.
what if you got out of it? I mean, what if he shared with you? Does he ever say like, "Man, son, I had this dude," or you know what? Man,
Well,
just
so,
inch lower, or what does
well,
he
so,
ever?
so the
How
thing
does how
is
does he
like,
reflect on it? I should ask.
well, I have, even recently, like I told him, I said, if you would have approached that fight a little bit different, um, I think you would have had a different result in the fight. If you notice in the fight, he came out and he was fighting very, very fidgety and very, very fast. I know my dad like normally fights pretty fidgety and fast, but he was fighting exceptionally fidgety and fast. And he had kind of relayed to me why he had done it that way, and why he felt that way. He felt that because he was older, he didn't really have as much juice as he did when he was younger.
Yeah,
So he wanted to try to get him out early, and so he just kind of threw it all out there. And I told him, I said, well, I agree with you. You were a little bit older, maybe not that, but you still had the technical. You were still technically sound, and you were still technically aware, and have the understanding. That understanding of boxing never went away for you. You still understand certain things and certain abilities. So if you would have maybe just started a little bit slower and got an understanding of him rather than just going out there and trying to go balls to the wall, you probably would have had a better result. And maybe you would have landed that punch a little bit later in the fight and would have gotten a knockout rather than just stumbled him. You know what I mean? Because if you would have taken that maybe into the, um, you know, sixth round, who knows what type of fight it would have been, you know?
I agree with you. I agree with you.
So, but he did agree that, he hurt him pretty badly, and he thought that, he did, he felt like he almost had him. But I think that, it was a little too soon. He put him on alert too soon. So, he unfortunately, I think he killed his opportunity rather than got an opportunity.
Yeah, he was there. He was able to do a lot of things other fighters couldn't do. A lot of people seem to forget that your dad shared the ring with Fernando Vargas. They've had their
Yes, he
their
did.
their rounds in there, and which I thought was a great matchup. And your dad just made it one sided.
Yeah, man. I mean, you know, the only Mexican fighter to beat my dad was Canelo Alvarez.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Ever. And you know, Canelo doesn't fight like a normal, you know, Mexican fighter. He has many different like styles to him.
Yeah.
But I feel like, especially, you know, most Mexicans that come from, you know, Southern California and that California area have a similar style. I wouldn't say the same style, but a similar style. And my dad was very familiar with him, kind of growing up in that area and stuff like that. So he was pretty savvy and you know, understanding of that type of style. So he was able to make the adjustments and adapt to it, which made it very difficult for those types of guys to beat him. So you know, I think that's one of the reasons why, you know, he was able to have an up on them. But he particularly Fernando Vargas, he put up a great fight against my dad.
Yeah.
The first fight, you know, I mean, he felt that, you know, it was really close, which it was before it was stopped. And then the second fight, my dad made the adjustments in order to get the knockout.
Oh yeah, your dad just that was day and night. I mean, your dad just that game plan. I mean, whoever came up with that game plan. I mean, just his feints alone. When he started to feint, I was moving. I mean,
Yeah.
I mean, he sold out really well.
Well, I mean, I think he made the big adjustment to essentially instead of throwing the right hand, which he was landing, and the reason why Fernando Vargas got the hematoma on his eye, my dad chose to do the left hook instead, and that's what the left hook is what got him out of there.
Yeah, you know,
unfortunately for Fernando Vargas.
So what do you think about Fernando's kids? What do you think about the younger generation? I mean, what do you think
great.
about his kids? And
I think they all have potential to be you know, great. But I think, you know, of course, Emiliano probably has the highest chances of, well, at least now. And so, you know, I think that they all have a lot of great talent, and I think that they're great fighters. Yeah. So, but I'm in agreement with a lot of people where I think Emiliano may be the best right now.
Yeah, I would say so. I also love the fact the way Fernando reinvented himself, that he's able to show a side to people. You know, a lot of people, of course, you know, remember him as being an assassin inside of the ring, and now to see this side, this protector, and also this nice guy outside of the ring as well. A lot of fighters are able to make that adjustment, and some can't. Some continue to live in the past.
Yeah, I mean, I know that he attributes a lot of that to him coming to God, to Jesus.
Amen, brother.
And and also he's at least relayed to me that he's been sober, so that's also been a plus for him. He had told me that is something that had been plaguing him for a long time, and some of the reasons why he said that he would blow up in the middle of camps or like after camps, he would just balloon up because, you know, he would drink, you know, with his buddies or stuff like that and party. And so, you know, taking that out, man, when I see him, I'm like, bro, like, you lifting weights, man, you getting buff, bro, you looking young, like, wow. And he's like, yeah, man, I'm just, you know, I'm not plaguing myself anymore. I'm not, you know, I'm not drinking anymore. I'm not, you know, doing, you know, stupid stuff anymore. You know, I'm making sure that, you know, my body's taken care of, my family's taken care of, and he has more to live for.
Yeah.
You know, and I, you know, I was telling his kids, you know, like your dad, you know, may not say it, but he needs you guys. You know, he needs you guys to be doing well because that's going to give him hope to push forward and to fight forward and to all those things, because he wants to train you guys to be world champions like he was. So, you know what I mean? Like, he needs you guys, and you could see that close bond with them. They all like have so much love for each other. It's such a cool thing to see, you know, all of them together and things like that, and just having that family bond.
No, yeah, I agree with you. A very nice family, classy family, You know, I text the dad every so often, and you know, he very informative. You know, he knows exactly what his job is now at this point in his life, and how he continues to reinvent himself and just still be that likable person. You know,
Yeah,
and trust me, it's still in there. He still has some rounds in there. I wouldn't cross his path the wrong way because he just has that look to him.
yeah,
And I gave him a man hug, and every time I do, brother, it's like hugging a brick wall. I mean, the dude is solid.
man, he is solid.
Yeah.
And when I see him, I'm like, bro, like you've been lifting weights or something. You've been doing something because you look ferocious. No pun.
Exactly. Hey, I want to ask you this, man. What do you think about the 140-pound division? They're talking about possibly Regis Prograis now possibly sharing the ring with Devin Haney. But you still have the Teofimo Lopez out there. You got Arnold Barboza, who walked away from a title shot and also didn't renew his contract with Top Rank. You got Jose Ramirez, who has one fight left with Top Rank, but has let the public know that, you know, he may become a free agent. He's looking to get those big fights if, in fact, he has the opportunity. What do you think about the whole 140-pound division as a whole? Possibly Ryan Garcia going up to 140 pounds, and possibly even Tank Davis. I want to know what your take is, and then I want to share with you what I'm feeling.
Well, I think that there's a lot of great talent, a lot of great fights at 140. Um, I think that it's kind of that obviously all of these guys are somewhat young, or like most of these guys are somewhat young.
Come
The
on, brother,
older guys
bring
that
it,
you
bring it,
named,
brother. You're going where I'm
the
going with
older
it.
guys, the older guys that you kind of named, they might be here, but there's some of the younger guys. I'm gonna assume that they're gonna kind of do what my dad and a lot of these other fighters did, which was go to the welterweight division.
Bring it here.
So they may be prolonging this, or who knows, they may give us the 140 fight, and then also move up again and fight again. Like my dad fought Oscar at 147, and then he moved up to 154 and fought Oscar again. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it could be a situation like that. A lot of the fights that are there that have a lot of potential are gonna be there for a pretty long time. So I can't say that these guys can avoid each other for a long time. So they might as well get it out of the way sooner than later, and let's get multiple fights out of the deal. You know what I mean? I really, really commend Ryan Garcia for taking on taking on a big challenge
Yeah.
like Javante Davis, and really put his best out there. You could see that he was lacking a little bit in the experience, and maybe all of the hype got to him. You know what I mean? Who knows? Only he knows what happened. But I was expecting him to do a little bit better. I thought that he would do a little bit better. Just knowing Ryan Garcia, kind of growing up in the same area as him, we're in the amateurs around the same time. He has a lot of boxing knowledge, so I thought that there was probably going to be a little bit more layers to his game, and I didn't see that. But as far as the 140, I went off on a tangent. As far as the
No,
140
I
division,
like where you went.
no, yeah. But yeah, so we'll bring it back. We'll go full circle. So as far as the 140 division is concerned, I think there's a lot of great potential there, a lot of great fights there, and I am going to think if as far as like my side is concerned, which is Golden Boy, if they're smart, they would go and take a fight with a guy like Rolly Romero, Rolando Romero, Rolly. I think that would be a good fight. Obviously, it's with PBC again. They're able to make their guy a world champion and put him and give him validity in order to be in the talks of that. And they also say, like, when a guy wins a world title, he becomes 10% better
I
after
agree.
becoming a world
As
champion.
Devin Haney became better when he won the World Cup.
Absolutely, 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 100%. I would love to see, a rematch with him and Lomachenko. Doesn't look like that's going to happen. It looks like, from all of the talk that I've heard, is that, he's probably going to be moving up to 140 pounds.
Yeah.
That's Devin Haney.
Dave
It would
Haney's a
make
big boy.
sense. Yeah, he's a big dude. He's not a small dude. I mean, truth be told, I think like he should probably do what my dad did, which was move up to 147.
Yeah.
It'd probably be smart for him. You know what I mean? Because he's a big kid, and he might have more power at that weight. You know what I mean? Like killing yourself, like that much, and to get down to 135 is gonna tax you. I mean, you're obviously not gonna have as much strength. So we might see a stronger, better Devin Haney at a higher weight. You never know.
I believe
But
you will.
with that being said, I think that a fight with him and Regis would be a great fight.
Who wins
I
that
think
fight?
that Regis.
Who wins that fight if
Ooh,
it's signed?
I think with the amount of left hands that I saw Devin Haney get hit with when he fought Lomachenko, I'm thinking if Regis lands
Mm-hmm.
those same left hands, it might
Me
be
time.
a short night. Yeah, it might,
Yeah.
it might be a short night because it seemed to be pretty easy for Loma. Obviously, Loma and Regis are completely
Yeah.
different fighters and not with the same skill level, but you are going to be seeing that same style, and so that style I feel like if Regis can land it, can be beneficial. But I thought that Devin looked great against Loma. I thought, watching it back, I thought it was a draw, actually. But nevertheless, I could see how you can give it to him. But I thought he fought great. You know what I mean? I thought he made a really great account for himself. I thought it was a very competitive fight. So, I think that it's a hard fight for anybody. And like Devin Haney is a hard fight for anybody, just how Floyd Mayweather is a hard fight for anybody. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, like he, may not get the knockout or may not, be the quote unquote most exciting fighter to watch, but he's a hard fight for anybody. Nobody like is like, oh yeah, like I'm gonna beat the crap out of him. Like it's hard. You know what I mean? So, with that being said, I think you know, Teofimo Lopez, that's a good fight. Jose Ramirez is just a tough and hard fight for anybody. He's just so technically sound, such a good, strong fighter all the way through. Good technique, good power. Like he has all the attributes of just a great, solid fighter. So I think he's a hard fight for any of those guys. And then Teofimo Lopez, man, he looked great against in his last fight, and I was really proud of how he was able to kind of turn that over. So that's good. I'm not sure who he will be fighting next, but I think he shows to be a great fighter and can show up when he's needed.
I know he'll be looking for a dance partner if Regis and Devin Haney line up. Then there's a possibility, slim possibility. The only holdup now is since Arnold Barboza left Top Rank, it would have been an easier fight for that fight to happen with Lopez and Arnold Barboza. Now, I don't see who exactly is going to share the ring with Lopez. Possibly Jose Ramirez, if they want to do it in possibly September or one of those months. And I would say we talk about Rolly. If I was Broner and you got one last hurrah and an opportunity to clean up your skill set and have one last hurrah in your sport, I'd be calling for that fight. I'd make that fight. Broner and Rolly. Only because let's think about this, Shane. Somebody has to win, right?
Yeah, no, you're right. You're right. Um, Honestly, like if I think from a value standpoint, for a guy like Ryan Garcia, I think that'd be a good fight for him too.
I do. I agree with you. That's almost I don't
Um,
want to say a gimme because nothing's guaranteed in boxing. Look what Ryan Garcia is doing without a belt. Look how much
right,
pay-per-view
right,
he's done without a belt. Now with that other little
yeah,
belt, I don't want to say little, but that other little something that attributes there, I mean, sky's the limit.
right, 100%. Um, I feel like if Golden Boy and Ryan Garcia, these guys are smart, I think you go for Rolando Romero first, pin him down,
Absolutely.
get that out the way. You know, no offense to Rolly, but I
Let,
think that
hey, hey,
Ryan
Shane,
wins.
let's keep it real, okay? I mean,
Yeah, no offense
there's
to
been a
him, but
couple times he's
I
been
think
awarded the belt. His best performance was a
yeah,
loss to Davis. He's no pushover
yeah,
either, but I just don't think I don't see him beating Ryan Garcia. I don't see him beating Teofimo Lopez. I just don't see them beating any of the Arnold
yeah,
Barboza or Jose Ramirez.
yeah. And honestly, for him, it only makes sense for him like if you're gonna like if you know you're gonna go out, you might as well
Get
go
some
out
money.
with the most money.
Exactly.
With the most money, right? So go out there and fight. Who's gonna give you the most money? More than likely, it's gonna be Ryan Garcia. So you go out there and go get the most money for your and who knows? You might clip him,
You never know.
and he goes out.
Yeah.
You never know. You might clip him and he goes out. You know, you've seen the sparring sessions.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like he's definitely clipped Ryan before. So, you know, he can most definitely do that and really cash in. So with that being said, I think that's probably the best fight for him. I think that he would be the most interested in that fight. And then, you know, you get Ryan, a title defense against a guy like we talked about, Adrian Broner. Boom. And then he goes in there. You keep that money going. You keep that stardom going, and then he goes in there and maybe goes to try to unify the belts. You know what I mean? So it makes sense to me. I think that that's for him at least. That's the best way to go. I think at least from what has been discussed is Devin wants to go fight Regis Prograis and then Teofimo Lopez. So that sounds like a pretty good, you know, some pretty good fights right there. I think those two are pretty great fights. I mean, to say that you can beat Regis Progress and then go fight Teofimo is saying a lot. Like you're
That is
saying, yeah,
just saying a lot. It is.
yeah, you're pretty ballsy. But you know, like if that's what he's saying. Aside from that, what since you know, Devin says he's going up and he doesn't want to fight Shakur Stevenson or Lomachenko, why not Shakur Stevenson and Lomachenko? What a great fight.
I agree with you there. I agree with you there. You're going exact. You're laying everything down for me. You're giving me an alley oop, and I'm about to slam dunk right now. First of all, you touched
All right,
on
let's
this.
get it.
We know boxing has a small window, and if we gotta put,
Yes, it does.
you didn't say the names, but we can figure it all out. When you put the Ramirez's and the Barbozas in the same category, and we're calling them elder already, we're only doing
Yeah,
that because the younger generation is about to take over.
right.
That window is closing right now. There's a screen on that window, and it's about to get closed. Now, if we put Shakur Stevenson in the 140-pound division, all bets are off. It's a wrap. I mean, I don't see anybody beating Shakur Stevenson at 140 pounds. I just don't. Who would give him the best fight? Styles make fights. But, I think he should fight Loma, move up. Ryan should fight Rolly. Teofimo needs a dance partner. Now, that dance partner is either going to be Jose Ramirez or Arnold Barboza, or Jose and Arnold Barboza are going to end up fighting each other, possibly for an interim bout. Regis, I like Regis because when they asked Regis about Rolly, he's like, okay, but I want to fight the best fights out there. Meaning he
Yeah,
wants to test his skills because he's not getting any younger. He's still a belt holder. Josh Taylor
yeah,
moved up because he's no longer going to be trying to cut this weight anymore. He's going to move up to
yeah.
147 pounds and,
He's a big guy.
wish him. He is a big guy.
That's a big dude.
He is a big
That's a
guy.
big dude.
Jose Ramirez is a big guy. He's still making 140. all these guys, even Regis can move up to 140, but they know, I mean, I'm sorry, to 147s, but they know 140 has the meat. It has the most income and has the most, they're daring themselves to be great. They want to be a household name and they want to be part of this era on fighting each other. That's just what I'm getting out of it. If you had to
Yeah.
pick a dark horse in this whole, all these names that we mentioned, who would it be?
Dark horse.
Somebody that somebody's sleeping on. Or who cleans it out right now? I said
Who cleans
Cooper
out?
does if he moves up, but he has not yet.
Yeah.
The names that I named now,
I
who
mean,
cleans up that division?
I don't think Shakur moves up just yet. I think he'll probably
I agree.
clean out the 135 division first, right? Because I mean, he's only had one fight at 135. You know what I mean? And he can, since if Devin, you know, leaves all the belts, I think he can clean up pretty easily. You know, so with that being said, you know, he cleans up that division fairly easy. And he probably won't move up to 140 for a while. But I think, let's see, who, give me the names again one more time.
Okay, we had I was about to say we have Shane Mosley. Look at you. I'm about to put you in the mix right now. We got Teofimo Lopez.
Yeah, too big for that.
We got Arnold Barboza.
Okay.
We got Jose Ramirez. Teofimo Lopez, a reminder again, he is the world champion. Devin Haney's moving up. We got Regis Prograis. Ryan Garcia. We mentioned AB Broner, and we also mentioned Rolly. Now, one style I didn't match up was, which would be a great style for boxing, would be Teofimo Lopez taking on Ryan Garcia. To me, that would be the mega fight. Besides the grudge match between Regis Prograis and Jose Ramirez, but it needs to generate a snowball effect.
So I think probably, I would say probably Devin. Devin would probably clean out the division. I don't think he's a dark horse, but I think he cleans out the division.
Okay.
I think the dark horse would probably be why can't I think of his name right now? You said the older fighter.
Ramirez or Arnold Barboza?
Ramirez. I think
I
he's
agree with
probably the dark horse.
I agree with you. I agree with you. I think people
Yeah.
will sleep on him and take him for granted, and yet he's going to propel himself on some fights that he's on paper not supposed to win or very close, and put himself in a position to sweep the whole division.
Yeah. I like Arnold Barboza. I believe that he has great skills. He was also in the amateurs with me. I'm just not sure if his power will translate in some of those bigger fights where these guys will respect him. You know, I mean, he has decent power and good skills, but I'm not sure if it'll translate. I would like to see him in a big fight, a title fight, to see how that changes over or transfers. But you know, I think he just unfortunately hasn't been tested yet. You know what I mean? And he's getting a little bit older. So, you know what I mean, we got to get him, you know, tested to see where his championship pedigree is. You know what I mean? And really get him, you know, get a fair assessment of him. But because he hasn't been in that championship level, championship fights yet, we're not able to see to get the best depiction of him. So hopefully we can get him a championship fight soon, so that we can see and be able to have that better discussion. All these other guys have had, you know, championship fights and stuff like that. Like Arnold Barboza hasn't fought for a title yet.
No. He had an opportunity with Regis Prograis because he needed a dance partner.
Yeah,
but
and
for whatever
every
reason, I don't
other
know if
person,
numbers or time or weight.
Yeah, every person on that list has had a championship fight, including Ryan Garcia. Correct?
No.
So-
Ryan hasn't had. Yeah, yes, you're right. I stand corrected.
Yeah, he
Papers,
did.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So everybody else has
I
had
forget
championship.
about that. I forgot that it was for a title. I just saw the name.
Yeah.
I mean, when you got two
Yeah.
big names, I mean, you really don't even recognize the belts anymore because you recognize the best fighting the best or daring themselves to be great.
Yeah, absolutely. And fighting a guy honestly, both of those guys, Ryan Garcia and Tank Davis, they kind of surpassed the belts.
I agree with you.
Fortunately and unfortunately, I would say unfortunately for Ryan and fortunately for Davis. You know, I mean, Davis doesn't necessarily need uh, um, a belt anymore.
No.
He's kind of like Canelo.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Floyd Mayweather. Like he's gotten to that level where like people, the name value of him,
You're getting a
like
payday.
kind of sells itself. Yeah,
Absolutely.
you tell people you going to see Javante Davis fight. Oh yeah, he can fight. You know what I mean? You know, it's just like if you say Canelo. You know what I mean? Like Canelo don't ever need a belt. You know, Floyd Mayweather doesn't ever need a belt. You know, it's like they get to a certain level where like you don't need a belt anymore, and Javante Davis has that. Now Ryan has that name value, but he doesn't have that same, how do I say, he doesn't have that validity of being a great fighter.
You know what? I agree with you there. What I do want to
At
know
least yet.
is when is Shane Mosley Jr. gonna get another opportunity? When is your next fight? Tell the viewers, the fans, before we close right here. When can we see you
Yeah,
back in the
man.
ring?
Hopefully, I've heard from Golden Boy, my promoter, that they're looking for me to fight in October or November. So hopefully, I can get you guys a date sooner than later, and I can let you guys know when exactly I'm fighting. But it looks like in the fall, October or November.
Well,
You see my baby?
oh yeah, hey, only on the fighter's voice, the only voice that matters. You know,
That's right.
got to bring her on.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, let's put her on camera if you don't mind. Boom, and I'll. There you go. Yeah,
There she
beautiful
go.
baby girl.
That's Jewel Jeanette.
You
Say
go.
hi. And there's my boys right here. That's Brown Sugar,
Okay,
and that's Addison.
good luck your
And he
family,
goes
man.
by Sugar. Thank you, thank you.
Hey, man. Well, I appreciate you taking the time, multitasking. You kept it 100. You let us know right out the gate. You know, once you get
Yeah,
that
man.
date, let us know, man. And we'll bring you on the back on the show. Or if you just want to talk boxing, reach out and say, Rich, you know what? I started thinking about what you were saying, and I like to add to this, or let's talk about this, or I may be doing some subjects later on the best left hook to the body or the best right cross, and I want to make sure I bring you on, and we can talk boxing all day long.
All right, off the cuff. Who's the best left hook to the body?
To the body. Okay, a lot of
Yeah.
people didn't give this guy credit. He had a very good left hook to the body, and they didn't give him credit because his right hand overshadowed everything. Tommy the Hitman Hearns had a great left hook to the body,
Oh, yes, he did.
and what
Yes, he
Julio
did.
Cesar Chavez. I mean, yeah, effortless.
Yeah.
But there was a lot of
Yeah,
other
man.
people that got overlooked. Your pops had a great left hook to the body.
Yeah, Canelo's got a good one
Oh,
too. My dad
Canelo.
said that was the. Yeah, Canelo said, like he said, Canelo.
Yeah,
Uh, if he was gonna go
Miguel
down for
Cotto.
any body shot,
Miguel Cotto got the
yeah,
left hook
Miguel
to the
Cora.
body.
Yeah, Tito Trinidad too. Ooh, we got a lot.
Oh yeah, yeah, exactly. I like Tito because he'd spring off his knees. He generated
Yeah.
power. Yeah, no, I
All
mean,
right, all right.
come on now.
All right, so top five off the cuff, rapid speed, top five,
Okay.
any era,
Oh, in this era or any
rapid
era?
fire. No, any era, right? Rapid fire, top
Tommy
five.
the Hitman
That's
Hearns,
hard for
nobody
me.
beats him at
Okay,
147 pounds. I mean, not even Bud
okay,
Crawford, not even Errol Spence. He stops Mayweather with that right hand. Nobody could withstand that right hand. One of the best right
okay.
hands in the sport of boxing. Roberto Duran, by far, has to be the
Yeah,
number 2 assassin. The man was just mean. I was told by Sugar Ray Leonard, looking at him was like looking at Helter Skelter himself. And Regis Prograis said it was looking at the devil himself. Now, let's go back. Sugar Ray Robinson. Nobody moved like Sugar Ray Robinson. I believe Bruce Lee even mimicked Sugar Ray Robinson and the way he was agile, moving left to right and right to left. And I got to give it up to one of the most pressure fighters out there, and that would be Julio Cesar Chavez. Now, I'm going to
yeah,
say this right here, and as far as the heavyweights, man, if this guy gets overlooked, but I can't have him replace the greatest of all time, Muhammad Ali. But Jack Dempsey gets overlooked a lot. We're talking about pound for pound. The man wasn't over 200 pounds, but he would knock you silly. But there's a lot of fighters that can arguably take those spots. I mean, Armstrong, who and simultaneously defended all 4 bouts. Marvin
yeah,
Hagler, he did it the hard way. But if I have to go, it'd have to be one. It would be Roberto Duran.
Mm. You said number one would be Roberto Duran?
No. If I had to
two?
pick one that had all the attributes,
Okay.
if I had to pick a fighter, it would be Roberto Duran.
Yeah.
Mike Tyson is
Love
fine,
Roberto,
but,
man.
there's a lot of different things about Mike Tyson that I would like to change as far as his management, but I can't. The sport of boxing has a small window, and it has a small window for a reason. If I had to pick one fighter, it would be Muhammad Ali and Roberto Duran.
Nice. All right, beautiful top five. Beautiful.
Yeah. Where's yours at? Let me hear yours real quick.
Ooh. All right, so off the cuff. Let's see. I can't remember. I forgot. I can't believe I forgot this. All right. Yeah, definitely Muhammad Ali. I'm just gonna no particular order.
Okay.
Muhammad Ali, Roberto Duran, Sugar Ray Leonard, Sugar Ray Robinson, and who is last? I would say Joe Louis.
I like Joe Louis.
I like Joe Louis.
Very, very accurate. Very accurate. And defensive fighter Pernell Whitaker. Did you notice none of us mentioned Floyd? But it's all good. That's a whole nother topic.
Yeah. I mean, I appreciate him a lot, and I think I find myself watching him a lot when when I'm getting ready to fight, because I feel like I like his winner's mentality.
Yeah.
And I like the way he looks at winning when it's time to. You know what I mean? But I just don't think that it's necessarily like the best. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because it's unrealistic to look at the only reason why he's the best is because he didn't lose. You know what I mean? That doesn't necessarily make you the best. Does that make you the most successful because you didn't fail? You know what I mean? No, that doesn't mean that you're the best because you didn't fail or your business, never went bankrupt. And there's a guy that has many businesses that went bankrupt and now he makes a lot of money. You know what I mean? And he learned a lot of different values from that. I think we put a lot of value in just not losing, but there's a lot of value in losing as well. There's a lot of value in being able to take a defeat and come out different and better than when you lost. You know what I mean? And I'm actually trying to do that with myself. I want to become a world champion. I've lost 4 times and I still want to become a world champion. And I want to become an undisputed champion, and imagine when I do that, what category that puts me in. You know what I mean? I'm able to lose and come back from that and change and grow and be better. How many of those guys, that are on that pound for pound list or whatever like that have done that? You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Come back from adversity.
You're
come
in a
back
good place
from
right now.
Yeah.
No, you are.
I am.
You're in a good place.
And I believe that. And I know that.
Exactly.
Yep.
Hey, Shane, man, I want to thank you for taking time out, man. And let's talk some boxing. I'm going to book you just because. I'm going to call the topic just because. And we're going to go off the cuff. No rehearsing, no nothing. I like that because that's when you bring it out of the whale's belly.
Yeah, what's funny is we should maybe make a segment off the cuff.
Okay, let's do that. We'll hashtag it. The Fighter's
Yeah.
Voice, and I'll bring you on as a guest co-host. You won't be a guest, you'll be a guest
Ooh.
co-host. You feel me now?
All right, for sure.
Okay,
for sure.
Man.
All right, let's
I'll
do
let
it.
you have your dinner, and this is the best part of the show. As always, I want to thank our guest, Shane Moseley Jr., and as always, it's a wrap. Thumbs up for Richie.
Okay, fight fans, it's not goodbye, but until next week.
Remember,
It's always voiceography at its finest. So on behalf of Richard Ortiz, the special guests, and all the crew, saying hasta luego, babies. And always, thanks for listening.